tWoTcast episode 26. That's it. That's it. You hear it? Did you hear it?
That was good.
That was it.
I don't think I heard it at all.
Yeah, you keep asking the question, did I hear it? The answer is no.
Did you hear it, episode? Did you hear it?
Yeah.
We are tWoTcasting. Fucking bitch. Goddamn bitch.
Is your neighbor out listening to the word fucking bitch?
It's episode 286. Exclamation points.
All right, everyone, shut the fuck up.
Wheel of Time. Reread podcast. Explicit and R freaking rated. Jono's the wild card, always talking shit. Joe's the straight man. He's a total dick. Tom calls in if he's not too busy. We are tWoTcast.
This is the best, quietest yelling I've ever heard in my life.
Did you get that? Did you guys get it?
Yeah, I got it.
All right, you're listening to tWoTcast, the Wheel of Time reread podcast, now covering Robert Jordan's The Wheel of Time Book 3, The Dragon Reborn. With me is Jono.
Jono!
Joe.
Oh, hey, Tom.
I'm Tom, study your math. No guest.
Yay!
There's no guess.
We're never going to have a guest ever again.
It's an unfortunate lie.
We spent so long guesting on other people's shows. I don't know. We already talked about that weeks ago.
Yeah. We hate her.
What are you talking about? We're about to cover shit we talked about 10 years ago. It's a fucking difference. Let's put this shit on repeat. Why don't we stop doing this and just release the old episodes? We just record a new intro and like hold up a newspaper with today's date.
Yeah, look, it's new. It's new. Our brains have changed. This is not the same episode as before.
We've gotten actually dumber. Well, a lot dumber, probably.
The only thing that's gonna, I think it was more relevant. It's gonna become less relevant as we keep going. Let's put it that way, because we recorded the first couple of books in like such a small amount of episodes that like obviously we had way more time to discuss things in this version of it. But when we started getting to the like book 7, 8, like we did like 10-ish episodes. We started getting up towards like 8, 10. You know,
they're trying to draw it out to match up with the releasable episodes.
Yes.
Well, the difference
and then we did a Memory of Light in 10 episodes.
And the difference will be we never knew what the last book contained as we did the first 90 episodes.
That is true. So there is a slight change there too. But also, so like when we're doing 14 episodes a book, like that gives us a lot of breathing room and we can discuss other things that we didn't have time to discuss before. But as we go further into the book series, it's going to become like more and more like equivalent to like where we're at now. So I'm just like, this will be interesting.
Honestly, think about the billions upon billions of brain cells we've lost to drinking and age over the last 2 years.
Yeah, and then it's just going to be, it'll be horrible.
It's not good. It's definitely not good.
It might be better for people to go back and listen to our insights from 10 years ago. They probably made more sense.
It's probably like the world's like weirdest, just like this is people. And it's an unintentionally blind study because we didn't realize we were in a study. And it's just like, oh.
Yeah.
These they have really degraded very quickly.
You know what another difference will be is that
so
10 years ago,
10 years of drinking does to your brain.
10 years ago really was the first time that we'd had any opportunity to sit down with a group of people, at least for me, and talk about these books like in detail, like in order. Because even when we drink and talk about it, we jump all over the place.
No.
And that was great, but now we've been doing it for 10 years and everybody else is doing it. We're on all their shows. So I'm just like, what is there to even say? So what I'm trying to say is I'm less interested and engaged than I was previously.
What I'm trying to say is
it's old hat at
I'm
this
a horrible person.
And I'm jaded.
We do mention stuff where I'm like, well, everybody knows that. We all know that. Let's move on. And I'm sure people are just like, what? I want to hear it. I'm like, nah.
It's important to note that this is, I believe, at least two of us, maybe Tom too, our favorite series. I assume, Tom, despite everything you just heard. And that some of the most kind, nicest people we've ever met have been at conventions for these books. And it's also important to note that fuck them all. because they're way too nice. They're too nice. And look at us.
Everyone's so nice. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. A bunch of drunk dickheads. All we want to do is make dick jokes, fuck jokes, Peruvian jokes. And Tom, take it away.
Maybe we've been spending all this time trying to be ostracized from this community, and it still hasn't happened yet. We just don't understand why. So let's take it to the next level.
Yeah.
It was way back in the day. We used to say things like, "I'm so surprised no one's emailed us and been like, fuck you," or like yelled at us, or said like we said this or that. And I'm just like, man, nothing.
That's happened.
Bad reviews.
Once.
What the fuck is that about?
Now we got like one bad review. One bad review a million years ago.
The bad reviews are like so few and far between because people can't be bothered because they listen to it. They're just like, fuck these assholes. Yeah. And they just move on with their life.
That makes sense too. We should revive this old bad review. Like, if you're looking for small talk shit, that's a fantastic one. 1-star reviews at tWoTcast.
Oh yeah, just revisit them after 10 years.
If you can find one.
Did you watch the end of Falcon Winter Soldier, Thomas?
Yes, I did. Spoilers for Falcon Winter Soldier.
Yeah, I liked it a lot.
What do you think? I thought the costume looked a little stiff around the neck and upper body.
I thought his shoulders looked ridiculous.
Yeah, I couldn't stop looking at it. Something was weird about it.
I think it was his upper, like, it almost looked like he had football pads up. But then when you saw him without the armor on, or like the costume on, he is pretty fucking jacked. So I'm like, maybe it's just his goddamn muscles under all that padding that is just making it look ridiculous.
It might be something.
But like he wore the Falcon uniform and it didn't look like that. So like I'm like, sure. Well, I don't know what.
And then, pretty good Steve Rogers moment at the end with his inspirational speech. Like his
I agree.
I liked that. Sharon Carter.
It seems like he had something to say finally.
Again, spoilers. Sharon Carter, bad guy? I don't know. Whatever.
I mean, I know they're doing Secret Invasion. Maybe it's not her.
You know they're doing Secret Invasion, right? With the Skrulls, and they're going to bring in Sword.
Yeah, that's what I just said. Maybe it's not her.
And Fury. Oh, yeah, good point. But also, they've made way too many jokes about Steve Rogers being on the moon for me to not think that that's real at this point.
Yeah.
I think we're going to see Chris Evans again as director of S.H.I.E.L.D. on the moon, or director of Sword.
Or Sword or something, yeah. That'd be interesting. Because he was like director of S.H.I.E.L.D. when he was an old man, right?
Yeah, this is literally a storyline for the comics.
Interesting.
Except in the comics.
Jono just totally checked out. He's like,
I'm all right with that.
I Googled podcast reviews.
So we're going to have a 45-minute discussion, me and Joe now, where we make a chart. We go through every possibility and like everything that we think of for who could be an Avengers member during the next Avengers movie.
That's fine.
Oh, and it might take longer than 45 minutes. Because I mean,
probably will. We'll do a second. We'll do a part 2.
Even the list of possibilities is going to take quite a while. And
because there'll be discussion. You'll say somebody, and I'll be like, "Really?"
We have to. Everyone that's possible, we're going to put them on the list. Then we'll start calling the list, and we'll start trying to put together.
Yeah. Okay. I like all of this.
It's going to take a while.
It'll take a while. That's fine. I'm just going to keep reading our reviews. Which, by the way, guess what?
You're going to take notes. You're the stenographer for this meeting.
84.
I mean, you're going to read the minutes back. For this,
Jono, save that for another small talk. That sounds like a really fun thing to go back through.
I'm going to. I'm just reading it myself.
Okay.
And while you guys talk about that shit, I'm excited. I'd totally forgotten this dimension even existed.
Of reviews?
Oh yeah. Also, Bucky was. Why would I remember? Awesome.
Do we still say leave us a review at the end of the show?
The best part is we don't remember ages. We don't remember our own script, which you said 300 times. No, we don't.
Do we still say?
We should start saying that again. Also, it's in the end. A lot of people probably never heard it. Hey, leave us a 5-star review on
iTunes or wherever.
Go on Reddit and tell everybody.
Well, that's the thing. Awesome. We're all over the place now. Before it was literally just on iTunes and it mattered. I started binging Cobra Kai just to keep on the topic of watching. Finally.
You started binging the best show of all time in space.
It's so stupidly good. I love it.
It's incredible how good it is. It doesn't make sense. It shouldn't be this good.
It shouldn't be good at all. It should really not be good. You should watch that show and be like, why the fuck did they make this? And then but I'm watching that show just going like, this is fantastic.
That's why I waited so long.
Lauren watching that show, not really knowing Karate Kid basically at all, because she was way too young to watch those movies when she was a kid. And it was just like what the and she's just like, this is a fantastic show. I love, and you're just like, how do you like this? This is so weird.
Oh my God. And they're not good actors. And they're selling it like a motherfucker. Johnny's actually a pretty good actor.
Johnny does a good job.
Daniel is.
The kids basically suck. All of the kids suck. And then Daniel does okay.
Oh my God.
Daniel's wife is pretty. She's a fine actor. There's nothing. She hasn't done anything wrong, but she doesn't really have a large role in the show or anything. And Grease is horrible.
Oh, what season?
I'm mid season 2.
So you've already seen the part where they make the commercial and then he screams at her to send it to the internet. It's my favorite scene in history. I just played it for Lindsay the other day.
Oh, send it to the internet.
I've got it recorded on my phone. And then he slams the door and you're just like, that was the most amazing fucking thing I've ever seen. The weird choice they decided to make Johnny so dumb or his brain was just stuck in the 80s is the greatest fucking move they've ever made. I was like, this is fantastic. All right, I'm gonna move on to the book because I can.
I'm done. I'm done ranting on Cobra Kai, but it was really good.
Spoiler warning for Cobra Kai is the best show ever. Also, this is our episode covering the Dragon Reborn, written by Robert Jordan.
I'm so professional, by the way. I left my book in the other room. I'll be right back.
Do you need it? Chapters 27 through 31. I haven't cracked this book in ages.
His notes are probably jammed in it. He actually rereads it and puts his notes in there.
I actually read it again. I'm on Fires of Heaven right now, but I go very slowly. I just always have a time book that I'm reading. When I get to the end, I'll just start over. But I read other things in between. I never sit down and do a dedicated.
All right, I guess I haven't done.
I did a dedicated reread right before we started doing this again. So I was finishing A Memory of Light right when we started Eye of the World, and I was like, oh, that was perfect timing. But I haven't done it. But aside from that, I had not done it in a really long time.
I can still glance through a chapter while having a cigarette, just swipe on the pages on my phone, and then just write up my notes real quick, and then. And we even have conversations where you're like, and then this happened. No, it didn't.
Will you be able to do that when we get into the later books, Tom? Because you haven't reread those as many times. Will you be able to quickly skim like that, you think?
We'll see.
I have faith in Tom. I believe in God.
I agree. I have faith in Tom.
I have faith in Tom.
Do you?
I have faith in Tom.
So I said 27 through, and then John interrupted us. So to get us back on track, I'm just going to say 31.
Oh, there you go. 27 through. 5 minutes later, 31.
Yeah.
Chapter 27 is Tel'Renriad.
Tar.
It's an Egwene chapter, Thomas. We're in Egwene's rooms.
Yeah, here's
Hogwarts Tower.
I haven't read anything about Harry Potter, oddly enough, here. Just wrote chores. Egwene's first time in the dream. Rand almost kills her for realsies. Sylvia's there. They decide to go to Tyr.
Solid notes.
So this whole section, of chapters 27 through 5 minutes later, 31. What I love about it is it really kind of builds there's nothing overly you need to go into depth on, especially once you've read the series once. But all of a sudden, there's a mystery, right? There's a mystery with who the fuck is putting these things out that they're supposed to go to Tyr. It gives impetus to all the plots that are going on. It makes them all move, and it's I think it's a great kind of. Book 3 is not a Rand book at all, obviously. Even though the name would think the opposite. It's definitely a book that just kind of says, push the pieces to a new place and then scatter them as soon as we're done.
Yeah, let's get everyone together, try to figure out where the Chamber of Secrets is and who's killing all these people. And
Yeah.
I don't know if it's really a chamber of secrets.
Well, no one's really dead, Tom. They're just frozen. They'll unfreeze them at the end of the semester.
That's true.
Yeah.
So maybe I should have said we're trying to figure out
who's Professor
Sorcerer's Stone is, or maybe
and at the end,
Black hiding. Or
Rand takes the sword and just jams it right up through that snake's head.
Serpent's mouth. Yeah,
perfect.
He's the boy who lived again. He's the boy who lived again. He was reborn.
Continues doing that. I want to read something for you, Tom.
Joe, you can go ahead and step out of the room for me.
Yeah, it's gonna be some. I've written some.
All right, I'll see you later.
Tom, Egwene was too conscious of the thing lying between her breasts. And she's also sore from Sheriam having beaten on her bum. Tell me about this, Tom. How, like on a scale of 1 to 10, how erotic is this to you?
That's definitely not a direct quote. She never said she was sore from being beaten on the bum.
Too conscious of the thing lying between her breasts.
That I knew was a direct quote.
I love the fact that there's no way that Robert Jordan wrote that and just said, Not like.
What about the part where he says it weighs as much as a brick?
I read a lot of this. A lot of this stuff with a new light sometimes, where I'm just
a big ass dick.
Where I'm just like, that was on purpose. All right,
yeah,
you did that. All right, you did that on purpose.
I see. I think the first time we went through this series, we were like, we didn't know Harriet as much. We didn't know Harriet at all, but we didn't. Well, throughout we did, but I mean, like, but we didn't know Team Jordan. We didn't know Harriet, and like we've gotten to know everyone in his life like really intimately, and like I think I have a greater insight into who he was as a human being, and that was totally on purpose.
Oh yeah,
that's all I'm saying.
Every female in the series gets measured for a neck chain that ends right at tit. No higher, no lower.
Perfect, and measured. Thank you. So,
we're gonna have to.
Elida, Sheriam, and Naya visit them in the kitchens, which is random and weird. I mean, there's nothing to say here. We know. I mean, we know things. We know. Just spoilers. Sheriam's Black Gotcha. We know what's going on later. We know Elida's not. We know like what their motivations are. Not a lot of mystery for us, but at the same time,
at the time,
you're like, who do we trust? I don't understand. And even Verin comes in and just like, Verin's the funniest one of all. Actually, I want to talk about that for a second. She walks in and goes, just pretending, I assume, being Verin, that she has no idea where she is. And then she walks in and just goes, did you guys find anything out? And they're like, what the fuck, man? And they're like, no, we didn't. And then she's like, okay, cool. That's what I expected. Anyway, I see you later. And you're just like, what the fuck? That was insane. I loved it. It was so funny. It's like, she's doing it on purpose. So like, what?
She's the best.
What conceivable reason does she have to be like, let's just see if they respond in this way? Like, what is her fucking point?
She's a wonderful,
it's so funny.
Half-assed bubbling spy who's actually spying for both teams at the same time, so no one wants to call her out on it. Like, it's like
she's like the man who knew too little.
Yes.
Just accidentally being the best spy.
This is the most excitement I've ever seen out of John.
You're talking about bitch. The Bill Murray movie, right?
It's a good movie, yeah.
I love it. Picks up the phone call for like the worst timing, and here we go on an adventure. And the whole time, it's like, well, these people are fake dead.
Also, 10 years ago, Jono mentioned the quote of the thing lying between your breasts.
All right, moving on from that. Let's get to the dream.
Just wanted to point that out before we moved on.
Thank you.
Spent a lot of time in the kitchens.
Dreamweaver.
Well,
Denise sings that song.
Can't put that up.
That puts Egwene right to sleep. That's the lullaby she sings.
Only you can get me through the night. Perfect. Like, just wonderful lullaby.
I like Egwene's response, or like her first thought when she's in the world of dreams is like, this is the world of dreams? Doesn't look too dangerous. Good job, McQueen. Yeah, you've been here for 2 seconds.
You fall asleep and you're open up to the pit of hell. I'm like, oh, I get what they're talking about. It's scary.
Oh, I see what they're talking about here.
That is dangerous.
And not like 3 minutes later, Hopper was like, I'm going to rip your throat out now. Like, you're just like, oh, okay.
I can never get over how utterly stupid I think the part is when Sylvie is getting a queen to say like the Dark One's a fool, and she's just like laughing and clapping, and they're just both doing it. I was like,
yeah, that was a little
special
weird.
Needs child.
Well, my favorite part
or is Egwene humoring a special needs?
No, it's from her point of view. She's into it.
My problem is the fact that
does make me feel better, Sylvie.
Tom thinks
Bel's against Zamaman is a fool.
Or the dark one. Tom, you're an idiot. Balzamon's not the dark one. Now who's laughing?
Yeah. Now who's laughing? Maybe it's just hilarious. I mean, Lanfear leaving all those clues in the tower for them to go to Tyr in the first place.
It's got to be pretty funny. Like,
already is based on the assumption that these girls are completely idiots. It's just like there's not a smidge of intelligence between the three of them. So like she's giving them zero credit.
A sphincter says what, Tom?
What? Is Sylvie Lanfear?
The game.
Yeah.
Why is she such a good actress here in the world of dreams where she literally doesn't have to be? But then when they encounter her in the real world, she's just like, well, I'm obviously Lanfear. How's it going?
She ran that way really fast.
I don't understand.
I am not.
She literally appear as herself in the dream and be like, yeah, what are you going to do with it?
Yeah, she could have just turned into another novice in that hallway and like stood up to the side and been like, she went that way. And like Egwene would have just kept running. Like she
or just stayed as Elsa and turned around and been like, what are you going to do with it? I'm going to use compulsion on you anyway, and you're going to walk away.
Yeah.
It's either compulsion
maybe she just, I think part of it is she just doesn't give a fuck. Like if she gets caught.
I guess she must have not used compulsion.
Like
That's the only thing that makes sense because she could have done that in disguise. So she must have been like, look, the only way out of the situation for me is to just like overpower her with my hotness. So here we go.
Yeah, I think so.
Maybe
Let me reveal my true nature.
Like Lanfear is obviously a very attractive woman. She tries to stay in shape, and she's just kind of like, well, you know what? Time for to go my run. Catch me later, and just take off on a jog. That's it.
Perrin's locked up, and Hopper stands guard. That was pretty interesting insight into what he does every night to keep his dreams safe. It's pretty fucked up.
Weird. Like obviously, it's partly like your first time is almost. Try to rephrase that one. Yes, I can. The first time into the world of dreams is kind of almost like preternaturally like perfect, right? Because she's just it's just kind of instinctive. So she immediately goes to Perrin, like you said, who's just chained with a wolf Hopper, and Hopper's trying to kind of, take her out, and Perrin's trying to protect her. And then she immediately goes to Rand at a campfire, and this is weird to me because Rand is conscious. Like this isn't a dream or portent kind of thing about like Rand is at a campfire. No, Rand's literally at a campfire, recognizes you and says like, anyone but her, and almost kills you. Like, so Rand in the world of dreams at the same time. And does that make much sense considering how little he really spends it in there?
Do you think
there
she's
by
just
accident?
I don't know.
Maybe he's.
Do you think she's just?
night.
I think currently he is because I don't think he. I think that's his way of warding his dreams is like being awake in the world of dreams all night. I don't think he's getting a lot of sleep right now. Is what I'm saying.
I mean, he can't be very comfortably sleeping on the ground. I don't think he brought a sleeping bag when he left that camp.
What an idiot!
He just wraps himself up in the dragon banner, Tom. That's his blankie.
Blankie. Yeah,
he knows. He knows how to make a camp.
We don't know. Moraine washed it with some very nice fabric softener a couple times before, so like
just a few times, and it smells really nice and clean. It's nice. It's comfortable.
Just a quick aside. The other day on the weekend, Lindsay and her mom went to go for a hike, and then they came back and they're like, "How was your day?" I'm like, "I went to the grocery store." She goes, "You went to the grocery store?" And I go, "Yeah, I got the milk and the eggs and the fabric softener." She's like, she goes, "I don't use fabric softener." Anyway, Wait, back.
Listen here, damn it. You should.
We do say the cars are still here. They didn't go to the airport like all the time.
Yeah, for the last 30 years.
Anyway,
back to the book.
So then she
I don't know. So let me ask you something. Do you think she's using need like by accident?
I think
right now, and zipping around like with a purposeful way of doing things, like almost naively, like not realizing that because she's just thinking about them and then she's there, like kind of thing. So I feel like
Lanfear is pushing her, and is it or no?
Interesting. I didn't even think of that. Wow, that's possible. I don't know why she would do that per se.
They're Verin too.
Well, Lanfear's obviously trying to get them to Tyr.
Yeah. Maybe she was just like, maybe if I know Ishmael's been fucking with Rand in his dreams. Maybe if I shove Egwene towards it, he'll kill her. Why
is she trying to get them to go to Tyr?
I think she's fucking Belal up. Yeah. That's her whole. All she cares about is fucking with Ishmael and fucking with Belal right now. She doesn't want them to have the calendar. She wants Rand to have it. So because she still wants to be with Rand on some level. And she wants him to be her equal, and he's not right now. So she's like, let's fuck up their shit.
No, equal.
Equal.
Anyway, Rand almost killed her.
Equal.
Wouldn't that have been incredible?
She's like, Rand,
if she never woke up,
doesn't believe her.
Like the next chapter was from Nynaeve's point of view, and like Egwene's body just burst into flames. She's like, well, that's the end of that.
Well, I guess we don't want to use that ring between her tits.
The only thing that was this stone ring. I'll take that. It's
weird. She's not moving at all. I can't even. Can you tell if she's asleep? No, I really can't. And we're just like, holy shit!
She just screams Rand and bursts into flame, and Elaine's just like, hell of an orgasm. That's the end of that.
Oh man, he just cuts her up from the crotch.
Unintentionally uses need, and she ends up, as we said, in Tyr with Sylvie and Kalendor. And of course, there is the weird Val pool kind of thing, which, again, why not? I mean, maybe Lanfear really feels excited about the fact that she's performing a con on Ishmael, whatever. But it is kind of weird. And again, why the wart face? Like, why not just choose, like, could have been fucking anyone, but she had to choose the ugliest, weirdest fucking woman.
It's the only thing that'll put Egwene at ease is some ugly old lady.
Women, right? They're just so just so shallow.
Yeah, tell me about it. We don't have time for that.
By the way, 10 years ago, there's a frog that makes a croaking sound or something when she leaves Perrin, and you thought that might be Simeon right next to Barthol's Manor in the World of Dreams. I was like, that was fantastic.
I'm disappointed we never got a frogman in this book series.
I mean, we just did. He's in the World of Dreams.
I know, but like as a major player,
living his days out
as a major player. All right, we're ready for the next chapter. Tell me about it.
Real quick, is it Rand or Belal who comes to look at Kalendor?
Belal.
Okay, that's kind of what
I think it's Belal, because I don't even think
it's a question.
I think it's him trying to puzzle a way out to get this Kalendor.
Yeah, I think every night he's coming to try to figure out this thing. But the obvious answer is to find Rand, cut off his arm, and then reach into it with Rand's arm. Take it out.
Perfect.
Or cut his skin off, wrap his skin around your hands. Take it.
Skin glove, even better.
There's a lot of good ways to do it. One of them is not just walking around it in circles.
What if you go too forward? It's like a combination of a lock. And then lastly, they all get in bed together.
I'm just really trying to picture Belal with a Rand's severed arm, like waving at a Kalendor and trying to knock it out.
Just trying to get the hands to close around the hilt. You can't do it.
His fingers don't work.
He has to wait till rigor mortis sets in and make an open fist and then slide it up the hilt like it's jerking it off.
You can reach into the stump and like grab the tendons and pull and try to.
There's a few tendons in there that are hanging out, and he's manipulating with air.
Make that work. You figure that out. Chapter 28.
Just fucking weaken and burnizing it with Rand's hand.
What's this chapter called?
Hold on a second. We have to talk about them getting in bed for 1 second, because Nynaeve just starts laughing, and then Nynaeve goes, "You're not that ticklish." I'm like, wait, what are you doing right before that? What? Because they're not. They're not touching each other theoretically.
Bean. Chapter 28.
She just starts giggling because she knows she wants to talk. She figured out who can carry Elaine's letter, which we didn't talk about at all, but who cares? Anyway, chapter 28 is a way out. It's a Matt chapter.
A new way.
I literally just wrote Matt some letters.
It's not long. It's a very quick chapter. I do have a big question. Matt eats 3 apples in a row. That seems like a lot of sugar and acid for his stomach.
He's trying to keep the doctor away for 3 days.
Right? I'll take that.
That my favorite joke I've heard in a week.
It's so stupid. It really was. The dumbest joke. Dumbest joke, and you laughed at it. I wasn't expecting actual laughter. That made me laugh, and then it makes me seem like I'm laughing at my own dumb joke.
If I have 3 of them, I mean, he won't even come. This motherfucker won't come within a mile of me.
I got 72 hours.
I feel like it's like something Will Arnett would say on fucking Arrested Development.
Oh my God. So stupid.
Oh, shit. All right. Matt's eating shirtless. That's important. He's got to show off that bod.
Yeah, the worst con women in the world come in, trying to flirt with him, appeal to his patriotism, and beat the shit out of him. Like browbeat him physically, like, mentally, I guess. Like,
they just try the worst tactics ever, and they're like, none of this is working. And then they're discussing how it's not working literally right in front of him. like he's not even there. It's amazing. Like, you might want to try just talking to him. Have you tried talking to him?
Train came, Tom's done. But yeah, again, and I know it's supposed to be kind of quasi-farcical, but at the same time, it's just kind of like, nothing's going to paint a lower light for them in my mind than, like seeing this guy's point of view and all the shit they feel like, oh, he's a dumb fuck. He's like, he's not an honest man. And you see into his brain, you find out how much he fucking actually is. And you're just like, God, these women don't understand. You sound so sexist, Tom. What do you think about that? Oh, yeah.
You could literally just, she could have just said, hey, can you deliver this letter? That's all I need. Hey, and he'd have been like, all right.
Hey, do you think Tom's going to back off mute? Never mind. Fucking try.
I like how he almost puts his shirt back on, but they didn't knock. So he's like, never mind.
That's it. Yeah.
And they're like, you look better. Well,
no, obviously it was.
I love the Elaine trying to be daughter heir thing, specifically because I hate her, and it's a specific moment of why I hate her so much. Very early in the books.
Well, I don't blame. It's better almost than Egwene, really. I mean, like, realistically, she is the daughter heir, and technically a map, which she should know better, says that he's one of her subjects. Okay. So, I mean, like, an order from your queen or your princess should carry some weight. Obviously, she should also know better that he's not really going to care. But, like, that makes more sense than Egwene just trying to be like, hey, how's your, get the fuck out, just do it. Right? I mean, like there's really no effort given by anyone that really could work.
It's more on Egwene for telling Elaine what Matt was like, and then Elaine just believing her friends.
Well, I mean, look, I also don't.
She doesn't know Matt from fucking anybody.
No, they literally say 2 seconds later, I told you that wasn't going to work, because he laughs at her.
Why not try? Maybe he accidentally.
I mean, that's literally what Elaine says. So I guess Jono agrees with Elaine. You sick fuck.
Do you think it's weird that rumors of Matt beating the fuck out of her 2 brothers haven't reached Elaine? Like, you would think people would be talking about that all over the tower.
Yeah, that's interesting. That never crossed into their purview. They have been quote unquote busy in the kitchens, Tom.
That's gotta be the most. Well, I mean, where else would you hear it? It's not like
that's true. It's got to be gossip all over the place.
Yeah,
especially considering that like half a dozen that I dropped into the kitchen.
I don't know. When you're being
half
punished
the people in the
and
tower
no one's allowed to talk.
One of those guys, and the other half are.
Thanks for whispering.
What?
Oh, not everyone's supposed to know about it here, nor should they.
About it.
He basically says I can't, and I can't, and they're like, just goddamn it, Matt, just do it, and they start yelling at him. He's like, I said I can't, not I won't.
Cannot. is unable to.
Yeah. Calm the fuck down. I said I can't.
Fuck down.
He lies and said it's because of the dagger, which isn't necessarily a full lie.
Well, there is also that question, and we've made the joke 1,000 times about like how the fuck do they even know about how to heal him from the dagger? And they're they can't lie, Aes Sedai, and they have mentioned like what happens if, which doesn't mean it's true, but what happens if we didn't root everything out? Because there would be nothing fucking worse than letting Matt, who clearly is never going to go to the goddamn tower again, with like the world's smallest little herpes of that dagger still just slowly just growing inside his brain. Like just let him out, because then he would just never come back. So I get the it's not a bad lie.
I don't know. Siwan gave me the impression it was basically the horn, unless she just didn't mention the other thing at all, which is very possible.
Oh yeah, that's definitely what it is, right? But it's not a bad lie for all the Aes Sedai to just say like, well, we got to make sure that Plus, you're a consummate liar, and we all know that you're shifty as fuck, and you're going to get the hell out of here as soon as you can.
So they give him the Amirlan's letter, and then he's like, consider it Morghase's hands, and then he asks for money. And then they're like, don't you have enough? And he's like, didn't you hear? Don't you hear
some
anything? Money? There's war. There's civil war. Everything costs $1 billion now. Like, I can't do any of this.
I do love how naive they are about that. They look at each other.
Yeah, well, again, they literally say like, well, we've been busy. As in, we haven't heard any rumors about, we have no news. Sorry, we didn't know.
Wasn't a knave just complaining about the cost of like fruit and vegetables in Fallen though?
Yes. Yes, very much yes.
She knows what happens.
As was Elaine, because she was telling Elaine. So I mean,
princesses don't know how much things cost.
I don't think
they think a gallon of milk costs $10.
Elaine has no idea. Oh, come on.
But again, to your point there, like Matt has been stuck in a sick bed or briefly out there, and he's smart enough and savvy enough to realize, like, hey, it's going to be expensive downriver. Whereas they're all kind of like, really?
Did they even know that there's a civil war though? I'm just playing devil's advocate.
But why would Matt know before then? What has Matt done?
Because he talks to people.
I haven't even heard about Matt beating up her brothers. So
yeah,
it's true.
I love how he says, "Is this real?" when he looks at the letter. Like, how would they have forged that?
I mean, realistically, no.
I know it is insane that they have it, but at the same time, it's like, what?
Also, if he thinks it's fake, why would he think he could show it to anybody and they'd be like, definitely real?
I don't think he thinks it's fake necessarily. I think he just was like, is this fucking real? Like, you serious? Give me
rhetorically.
Yeah. I like this. So they talk about Emmett's Field. It's very touching. Moving on. I like how he says, I know you're badasses and everything, but if you ever need me, I'll be there. And they laugh at him because it's kind of the same thing Huron said. And I'm just like, it bothers me on one level because he literally started the statement with, listen, I know you're going to be Aes Sedai and this doesn't really mean anything, but if you ever do need me, like I'll be there. I'll help you kind of thing. And it's like a genuine gesture. And they just like throw it in his face like it's the dumbest fucking thing he's ever said. And I'm just like,
this guy's an asshole.
He started by saying, I know you'll never really need me. However, this is how I feel.
Which is incorrect.
And it's like, wow. Shocking.
Yeah, I mean, like, you're exactly correct, though. I mean, like, look, like, it's not like he can just sit there like, I'm going to hover over your shoulder until I repay a favor. Like, no, can't do that. So, like, look, odds are you won't need me or I can't be helpful because I'll be hundreds of miles away. But if there's a time where that can work out, I'm here to help. And they're like, you stupid dumb man. That's not helpful at all. Like, I fucking know. Odds are low. But
yeah, I'm just putting it out there, you fucking bitches.
Gonna jump to chapter 29.
Wait, he does a jig alone in his room.
I'm glad we covered that.
No, I wanted to say I assume it's he's dancing with a cardboard cutout of Michael Jordan because there's no other way to do it.
He's got that sentimental feeling. Yeah.
Right, some mannequins.
29.
Chapter 29. A trap to spring. It's a Nynaeve chapter, and they're in the kitchens again.
Yeah, I wrote, Nynaeve reports to the Amirlan. I didn't write in the kitchens, but we'll cover that.
What do you think? Oh, sorry,
the final fate of Else Grinwell.
Oh.
And then I wrote, they're going to Tyr now, and I put an exclamation point for some reason.
Because you already said that in your first recap.
No, but now they're go. First chapter they decided to go. And
we're
then
going to
she
Tyr.
Talks to Maryland.
Period.
Like,
and now it's like, we're going to Tyr. Exclamation point.
Yeah.
Going to Tyr. He's going to Tyr. He's going to Tyr.
What?
I had never heard of it.
I was just going to make a joke. Never mind. I was like, I had something to say here. What was it? No, it was stupid.
I had never heard of a turnspit dog until this. Really? The first time I read it.
Oh, a long time ago. Okay.
Yeah. No, I somehow always missed a couple chapters with this dog. It's kind of brilliant, right? Hooray for kind of middle-aged technology.
It does seem sort of middle-aged, though, because this isn't supposed to be necessarily the Middle Ages. It's supposed to be like more
early Renaissance.
Early Renaissance kind of phase of time. Like people have glasses and I don't know. Technology is further along than.
And nothing wrong with this. This is technology to a certain extent, just kind of running along, making the fucking meat spin, which is a wonderful website, meatspin.com. Feel free to spend your time there, readers, listeners.
Why don't they just use a spell to turn the spit? I mean, they're at Hogwarts. Also, what do you think all the house elves that are making the food think about it when they're like the humans are down there making food with them? Do you think it's
they get a lot of scares from the accepted house elves?
Yeah, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Don't you think McGonagall knows a spell that they could use, or Dumbledore maybe?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, just one snap of the finger and the house elf got it done.
Yeah. Then you just go through the fat lady's painting and you're back sleeping in your camp.
Amazing. That is my favorite line when she can't make the fucking note to break the glass, so she just breaks it and just says amazing.
Yeah.
I do that for everything now. It's like
Doris has a spoon that's not for cooking, and she has an apron that could make dresses for 3 novices. That's gigantic.
Not necessarily, but probably so, yeah. I mean, we know that...
That's gigantic. Are these dresses mini skirts? No, this is the Wheel of Time. That's a huge-ass apron. Think about what she just said.
Think about how volume works, right? Think about how volume works, right?
You have to wrap the body of 3 human beings, and this is just a piece of clothing that goes down the front of her dress. That's insane.
2/3
How big is this woman?
Is it really that much bigger, knowing how volume works? I think it's 2/3 pi r cubed, and I wasn't going to go into the derivative of it about how much larger that makes you.
That's impressive math studying.
It's not really studying. Thank you. Yes, it is. Horrible memory, and I'm pretty sure that's right.
Think about what I'm saying. She has an apron that's big enough to cover 3 people in a dress. That just covers the front of her body.
Yeah.
That's insane. She's a huge woman.
Not really.
She's got the biggest box to hide a ruby hilted dagger in you've ever seen. That's all I'm saying.
Do you think that she boils those tits down and just runs it like the floor and just like a slip and slide almost? Just runs down the hallway and just it looks like Marv. He steps on that green on too.
Yeah.
And just yeah, that's what it looks like.
Yeah, I agree.
So
I'm glad we're on the same page. That's all. I'm just trying to make sure we're on the same page. Well, anyway, Siwan gives Elaine and McGueen Ralphie punishment.
Elaine is targeted, but McGueen's an idiot. And he swallows bitch.
Doing chores, and then the president comes in and is like, "You're not doing a good job." And then your friend is just like, "Yes, she is."
And you're like, "What are you
Shut
thinking?
the fuck up!"
Read the fucking room.
It's silent, Joe.
It's the president. Just be quiet.
Anyway, so like you said, Tom, no one comes over and says that they had a gray man in Sheriam's bed again, which at this point is now just a because that's the 3rd gray man.
She's definitely fucking those guys, right?
That's all it is, right? Yeah. So there's 2 things going on. Either she just keeps pretending,
actually.
Yeah. Either she's just pretending well, that was a gray man. And she's just killing someone in her bed.
She's killing normal people. He's an extraordinary, ordinary looking man. That doesn't mean I didn't find him attractive.
Yeah.
Did you fuck one more guy to death? Yeah, gray man.
Oh.
Here's the key. This one's a woman. 10 years ago, Jono goes, gray woman? Are they called gray women?
You can fuck a gray woman to death.
But here's the thing. In the book, Swan goes, another gray man was found. It was a woman. And I was like, what a weird... So it's a title? Like, and they give it to women too? It's very strange. Right. Why do you just say gray woman?
Sharian's job is to beat young women in the ass, and then when she has sex, all of her sexual partners die. It's really a pretty clear line to Black Aja. I don't even understand why we were surprised.
That's what I wanted to talk about. This is so obvious it's not even funny. So like, first of all, she was there when the first one died, and then the girls left, and she like claimed that she basically said, I'm not going to tell anyone you were here, like get out of here, kind of thing. So she was responsible for finding the first body. Then there's another one in her bed, and Swan doesn't go, huh? Like what, nothing? No, so like let me look at
whenever something like that happens, Swan's just like, I don't know who I can trust.
Yeah.
Can I trust Sharon? I don't know. Maybe.
What the fuck? Come on, like nothing.
It's such a weird
fucking gray people to death.
It's clearly someone is fucking with you personally, right? It's not like you saw something and you shouldn't have. It's a message that you get your shit together or else. Like, right? Like, no one otherwise.
Get your shit together.
The gray woman, I guess, in this case, would just be waiting in your room to fucking kill you if you were a threat. Instead, it'd say, get your shit together. And also, here's a corpse.
Push it all into a little ball.
Yeah.
Put it in a backpack. Take it. Get your shit together.
Take it wherever you need to take it.
So here's a question, though. What type of, you guys are familiar with the stranger, right? Like where you sit on your hand until it goes numb and you jerk yourself off with your eyes closed, and it kind of feels like someone else's arm, right? With a gray man or woman, at this point, you don't see them almost, right? Your eyes slide off, but you kind of but you're getting eaten out here.
Come off a forehead.
Yeah, it's a greasy forehead. But what type of fetish is that, right? Where you don't really see the person fucking, but you know it's there. I'm interested in your take, Tom.
I think once you can focus on the gray person, you can see the gray person. They're just very bland.
Well, that's less interesting. All right, Tom, Joe, do better. I feel like the point is, even after they're dead, sometimes you don't really want to look at. They're just kind of half.
I don't know if it's not want to look at them. I think it's just that you have trouble focusing on them in general.
Maybe you can imagine them being anybody else because you can't focus on their face to take you out of the moment. So
also, I think it's kind of
maybe I'm having sex with Natalie Portman.
It works in a crowd kind of thing, but later on when Matt's on the bridge, it's just him and the guy, and he's like, "Well, your luck wasn't with you," and he makes a joke about it, but I think it's because it was just him and the guy, and the circumstances involved there.
So if you had 5 people in the room, one was a gray man, and you're having sex, you don't know which one it is.
Absolutely.
That makes sense. Okay. All right. Maybe that's what's happening here.
Just you can't see the gray man. You don't even notice he's there until the knife is in you, and you can't, except with the penis.
The knife is your dick. Yeah.
So it's the love gun. The gun is his dick.
Yeah. So anyway,
wait. All right. I want to
wait. So now all the gray men are dressed as Kiss.
Before we get too
you can spot them in a crowd from a mile away, unless you're watching a Juggalo concert.
No, it's Swan here's the clues that they got. She's like, all right, so this is obvious. I mean, you guys know this is a trap, right? Well, she's just glossing over the fact that one of her Aes Sedai is just followed by a trail of gray men bodies.
Clearly,
I don't know who the Black Aja is. Seems also obvious clues.
And so not only are they obvious clues, but it might not necessarily mean one thing or the other. It could mean that she's really targeted by the Black Aja. Either way, investigate it. And you should pay attention to her.
Yeah. That's a very good point. It's either don't trust this woman at all, or she's on the cusp of finding out the entirety of the Black Aja.
Yeah, there's no middle ground there.
Yeah, but what's your plan here? I'm going to tell these accepted to go on south. I'm not going to worry about anything else with Sherry. I'm going to let her just go on with what she's doing. What?
Also, so she does. So to Tom's reference earlier, she does mention Else, and then she's like, "I never gave a message, and Else left 10 days ago." And you're like, "Oh,
is that the last we hear of her?"
There's a joke about her later, maybe.
Well, they might mention her, but not in like actual passing. Correct, so Lancer killed her, right?
She's so much larger. She just
allowed her to leave and then took her place.
So much larger in my mind than she was in the books.
She's actually quite slim but busty, I think.
Also, why would you take a disguise of a person that was kicked out of the tower 10 days ago? Like, everyone you see is going to be like...
either.
Hey,
I made a joke last episode about like, does she have her in a closet and is sending her like compulsed to classes? Because like, how is she attending class? Like, why would she put up with that kind of thing? And then John was like, well, she's not even in the tower anymore. Like, well, that's a dumb disguise. Like, I don't even. Why'd you pick Else? You literally pick anybody.
Disguise. It's a great disguise if you think they're all stupid and fuck off.
What if your disguise is no one they've ever seen before and when it just assumes you're someone yeah, you're right, Jono.
You're an idiot.
That doesn't make any sense. You definitely have to replace a specific person.
So Suan mentions that she'll give them gold, leave them gold for the journey in their rooms, and then Tom goes, Tom 10 years ago said, does that not annoy you that Matt just asked for money and they said we don't have any, but the second they get money, they don't go and give him some of it. They just take it all and leave and just go,
rich bitch.
Screw you. And I was like, I never thought of that, and fuck, yeah, goddamn, that's some fucked up shit.
Well, we find out in chapter 30, Matt's about to solve his money problems. What's it called?
Hold on.
God, three things. That was the perfect transition.
Well, thank you for noticing me. I do love the fact that she's like, anyone could be Leandrin, which brings up the question of, A, do you really think Leandrin's in charge? Maybe. And like
I think they do. I think she does.
I think they mentioned that we don't even know Leandrin's in charge.
Correct.
At some point. Right.
But I love the fact that the Mask of Mirrors is so like everyone knows it, but no one talks about it. Now all of a sudden you're like, well, I've got to really reconsider goddamn everything and everything. At this point, do you even question, like, or do you not start questioning, like, is this even the Amulet I'm talking to? Is this even
Verin I was talking to? Is this
I would actually
acting insane?
Here's why I would assume it was, because it's called the Mask of Mirrors, which is the stupidest name for a disguise.
I look like you.
I'm going to make myself look exactly like myself.
Maybe mask is the other way around. You're wearing a turban. Now
you're wearing a mirror of the person you're looking at.
Yeah.
So Suan does that thing where she mentions that she knows Elaine was involved the entire time, and then he was like, "You scheming old, mother."
Yeah,
mother. I thought that was funny. And then she goes, "I'll say you're off on a farm hoeing cabbages," and as we all know, that means when you pimp out cabbages for streets.
Yeah, I love to hoe some cabbages. All right, chapter 30.
The first toss, it's a Matt chapter, and he's a Tarvalon tavern hopping.
Yeah, I just wrote Matt leaves the tower and does some gambling and kills a guy.
Good.
I mean,
this is obviously one of the very important things for Billy Madison, right? Where Matt's luck's going insane, and someone says he got the Dark One's own luck, and he just grabs him and says, "Don't you say that." Don't say that.
I thought he said, "Stop looking at me, Swan." When the Maryland was giving him shit. I can't remember.
That was a pretty good Adam Sandler, Billy Madison, buddy.
I liked it.
It's pretty good. I just want to cut back to the beginning when Matt's stockpiling food and then he packs up all his shit and he has everything on his body and he's just like, I look ridiculous. They're going to know I'm leaving right away. And then he's just like, fuck it. And he just decides to walk down the hallway, pretending, like, obviously being an idiot, and just be like, see you guys later. I'm definitely not leaving. And it just the whole idea of it is just so hilarious and stupid. It just makes me think of like fucking Spider-Man 3 when he's like walking down the street pointing his finger at people. He's a complete fucking asshole. It's really funny.
This whole it's kind of in a perfect little bunch of chapters we wrote that really is the formative chapters. What happens, not just for this book, but for the next couple books, because it puts, the actual, the three girls on their way to hunting the Black Ajah, which is going to happen at least through this book until Egwene leaves. It gets, it's going to get Tom in, spoiler, in a bit, but it gets Matt out of the tower. And like, these are really formative chapters for him as a person. Yeah. And it's just, honestly, when I think of what book 3 is, it's this shit, really. It's the plots that actually affect what these characters do is really what book 3 is to me. Aaron's distinctly uninteresting, really, besides our frogman and Fail, who's the worst character in the books almost. So I don't know.
He bonds with Gaul and becomes like close. Like that starts a really long relationship for them.
I think we get to see more of everybody because it's the first time every single thing is not from Rand's point of view for the most part.
Yeah. That is true. Yeah.
Also, version 1 of
which, by the way, I hate it.
On a roof. Like which Matt's very good at.
Yeah, Matt does the first Batmaning in this entire book series. In my memory, it was just Rand and Lynn and Farmatting, but I guess that was wrong.
He does it. Well, I mean, he does it again later at the end of this book.
Yeah, it's later. When
he blows the wall open.
Yeah.
Yeah, but at that point, Rand's
with fireworks
around on buildings,
not his mouth. Just to be clear.
Yeah, he just blows the wall, like
open.
Yeah, open. Yeah. I wrote, okay, just an hour of gambling. Okay, 3 hours. Okay, 4 to 6 hours. Final stop as soon as the sun comes up. Stop worrying about it. That's what I wrote.
Well, I mean, everybody knows what that's like if you've been to Vegas.
I just thought it was fucking awesome.
They just pump pure oxygen into this Tarvalin tavern.
He gets a ton of money, quote unquote. In like 30 minutes, he's like, shit, I could stop, but I gave myself an hour and I got 30 more minutes. And then after that, it's just off, just gone.
I mean, I can't blame a guy who's, been a poor, or kind of like lower middle class farmer for his entire life. And all of a sudden, like everything's sticking. Why the fuck would you leave? And it's also like the Aes Sedai are not going to go after him for at least a 24-hour period.
Yeah.
And, fuck a guy, whatever works.
Wouldn't you be mad? Wait,
I wrote
hold on
Matt
a second.
hangs out in South Harbor, if you know what I mean.
Wouldn't you be angry if you got rich or like gambling? Because like what's $1,000 in gold coins? I don't want to carry that around.
Yeah.
I think $1,000 in gold coins is just one gold coin.
I think that's the whole
point. He says he goes to money changers like 2 times to like trade up larger coins, so he doesn't have to carry as much around. But like Jesus, I feel
like he has a bottle from a water tower full of quarters. It's like holy fucking shit. He's dragging that around.
Hey, you Gek.
I do love the
money.
Yeah.
Anyway, he crushes it and gets rich.
Like the money chain, the currency systems really aren't talked about that much. The Andorran one's the fattest. Terran's not like far behind, but it's just kind of
Tarvalon was the fattest.
Well, it's definitely.
I know he's so seriously.
It did.
I thought Tarvalon was the fattest.
I don't know what to say to that. Like we know that they're definitely the least used worldwide, but maybe they are the fattest.
Everyone's afraid of them.
But like, at least of those that are accepted everywhere, which is a funny thing anyway. Like it just seems like a bad system anyway. That it's actually 1.38 Andorran to a Terran. It's like, Jesus Christ, get on the same fucking page. You've literally had 1,000 years of the same countries at this point. Like, kind of, just stop being like. You would think that these are kind of just known, right? It's not
no one wants to fix the system because that would put all the bankers out of jobs, and they, they know what they're doing. It's called economics.
Let's not get into the economy.
Too late. Anyway,
back to him freaking out about the dude saying Darkland's own life, and he's like, he slams that guy against the wall, and he's like, no one calls me Dark Friend, and he's just like, no one said Dark Friend, bro. And he's like, and then he just gets his stuff and leaves, and I was just like, he's crazy. He's lost his mind. He's just freaking out. Did that dagger fuck me up? Did the Aes Sedai do this to me? What's happening?
I wouldn't be concerned about it. Fucking rich.
Yeah,
I wouldn't.
However it happened, I'd be like, huzzah! I mean, if a monkey paw grants me a wish, I'm not going to worry about the consequences.
Yeah, what bad could come of it?
Who cares?
So then we get it's a cool little chapter of like kind of quote unquote footpads in the night, which they're not obviously, following him, and like his plan of like, just jump on the roofs and running around on it. It's a wonderful visual, right? It seems like eminently perfect for like TV, which by the way, there's a show coming.
I can't wait to actually see this. This will be cool. Yeah. Wait, that's Patreon. Anyway, moving on.
And like moving on for that. And then like, it's like, we've got and listen to our Patreon episodes and pay money for it. Like what the fuck Tar Valon looks like anyway.
Because they go into a little bit more detail here of like, he's talking about like the Ogier built buildings versus the man built buildings, but even the ones that the men build are like a couple thousand years old, and like this is crazy, and they're still
beautiful architecture.
And he's just like climbing up weird sculptures to get on the roof, and it's super easy. And he's like, you could just totally steal like crazy in this stuff.
It's from the way it's described, I assume it looks like if the Little Mermaid designed a city.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's correct. That was actually Robert Jordan's. Was just like, I love Little Mermaid.
He was watching Little Mermaid while he was writing it.
He's like, that King Triton. He kind of reminds me of Silver.
What if Under the Sea wasn't?
I'm going to make her talk about fish all the time.
Actually, that's true. The leader of the fish city talks about fish all the time, and it's like pussy. Holy fucking shit! It's all coming together now.
Anyway, it's falling on the bridge all of a sudden.
It's really so on the nose. It's ridiculous. Going on in
RJ's brain, guys. I think we're very smart. Anyway, he finds a bridge after he's running across some rooftops across the street, and he gets down onto it for some fucking reason, and then runs. I like how he runs across the bridge and gets to the other side, and then he's like, "I guess the only way is through this person's house." Huh? That's a bad move. And then suddenly there's a gray man there.
Also a bad bridge.
Yeah, what is this bridge?
Yeah, what is this? I don't know. I assume it's like a walkway across to go somewhere else, and then like a house grew over time, like 1,000 years ago, went to the top of something, and then now it's like, oh, we need another story. Who cares about the bridge? Like, that's the way it seems like this city was built. Like
the realtor was just like, well, what do you think about the house? And they were just like,
no, like the
bridge into our kitchen
city,
window.
And then like the men came afterwards and were like, okay, well, fuck this bridge. These people need more space here or whatever, and just like, it's built on top of itself.
I mean, maybe. I mean, this is.
You're right. It's true. I'm trying to make this make too much sense.
I don't know why.
I think it does
also, 10 years ago, Jono, you said he's got a quarterstaff stuffed between his legs. If you know what I mean.
It's 10 years later, and I still don't.
And then he pulls a gray man over the side of a bridge.
Although it makes me question if he's a gray man, because the gray man does make a noise.
It's definitely gray man.
Yeah, it's definitely gray man, because he calls him ordinary and kind of barely saw him. Just really ends up just.
He didn't even know he was there until he was like.
Many women have described me as a gray man.
So he says it's time to toss the dice, and the gray man's like, "What?" And then they fly over the edge of the bridge. I mean, like, clearly he's speaking the old tongue there, right?
Oh yeah. And
the gray man's like, "Huh?
I'm a person."
I like how 2 minutes earlier he decides not to fight on. This is my the decision to flip backwards over a bridge that's 3 stories in the air is like insane. And not 2 minutes earlier, he knows there's footpads behind him, and he's like, I could beat these guys up, maybe, because I mean I just took Gallant and Gowan. But this is cobblestones, and it's really bad footing, so that's probably a bad move. And he keeps walking, and you're just like, so fighting on cobblestones, that's crazy.
That's Matt's weakness.
But pulling yourself over a bridge and just fingers crossed you don't hit the ground first is your next move. It's fucking amazing.
Well, he's got his quarterstaff tangled between his legs, and that's a drag.
Oh yeah, he does. Oh yeah. Anyway, shock sets in, and he needs a minute to sit down, and he goes to an inn.
Woman of Tanchico.
Chapter 31. It's a Matt chapter again.
I didn't do great on these notes either. I just wrote, Tom is drunk, Matt eats all the food, boat or something.
That's really
actually very accurate.
All right.
More? That's fine. So again, I do want to see, and we can discuss it on Patreon, what a gold and silver harp is going to look like, because we didn't really talk about it, but
we're not going to see that. It's not a harp anymore.
That's true.
It's a guitar.
A guitar, actually. It's
Is
going to be very
it a
odd.
lute?
A lyre.
To piss off Patrick Fussy?
Damn it. But the idea of this gold and silver chased instrument seems like he should be probably robbed at like every inn he goes to. Tom Maryland.
Every inn.
Hey, have a good night. And then we're going to rape the fuck out of you tomorrow. Obviously.
Every inn.
I mean, they could try.
I imagine it's a silver, plated instrument that has gold on it.
That's just seems expensive.
You just said what he said in different words.
Yeah, thank you.
When you said what would that look like? I'm like, it's just a gold or silver instrument with gold on the silver.
Isn't every instrument silver or gold?
Silver and gold.
He gives Rand like a wood flute. Remember?
This is a harp.
But he also has a super nice flute, as we're well aware.
Yeah, it's made of precious metals.
Have you seen this flute?
It's all scarred up. That's not.
Oh! Don't talk about Tom like that.
Made a dick
joke.
Two women have you seen his flute? It's filled with holes. And it makes sounds.
Makes sounds every time you blow it.
The haunting sound.
These two surfing women are just giving Tom a blowjob in his room, and it's just like.
That's what happens if you try to blow into the wrong end of the flute.
What the hell's happening?
The music is to come.
There is a quote here about Moraine that does kind of, again, the harbinger.
Tickle the shaft more.
A fine-looking woman, Moraine.
Finger the holes.
Yeah. So he does kind of, a little bit of alluding to his interest in her, and he talks about the fact that if you meddle with her, then you get more than your fingers burned, which, by the way, is obviously about
STDs. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so pussy and STDs.
Gonorrhea.
Don't mess with Moraine. I know from experience. More than your fingers burned.
Just look at his knobbly knuckle with just scar tissue on him.
I like how Matt's like, give me 3 chickens. Tom, do you want anything? 3 chickens. Jesus Christ.
Anyway, stole that shit right here. Yeah.
I mean, other than Matt going like, holy fuck, Tom, how's it going, man? We all knew you weren't dead. Brand said so. Moraine's been saying it for a long time. Like, there's not a whole lot going on here. It's pretty awesome that he recruits Tom to come with him. I like how he does it in a way of like going like, oh, you came to Tarvalon to kill yourself? How about Caitlin? It's worse for you, right?
More visceral.
If you want to die, I got a plan for you.
Yeah, if you're just trying to kill yourself, I'm going somewhere that I know you're not going to like.
So I guess Matt still remembers Tom. Yeah, Matt didn't go crazy.
He knows enough about Tom. He didn't go crazy until after Rand blinded him.
Old friends, though.
No, not at all.
They traveled together.
I kind of mentioned this 10 years ago, but we could talk about it a little bit, tiny bit more here. But like, I feel like this is the first time Tom like actually takes account of who Matt is and goes like, oh, okay. Yeah. I kind of like this guy.
It's not clear for like, I guess, in this interaction that we barely know each other.
Yeah. I mean, but they have like a camaraderie because they travel together, but like, I guess there's more of that than we ever see, but like, yeah. I guess Matt wasn't crazy on the boat, and they were on the boat for a while.
Well, remember,
he's only a little crazy on the boat, and he's really just more protective of the dagger. It's later on after four kings or whatever that Matt really gets crazy with Rand on the road.
There's at least 3 weeks together, right? I mean, you see each other in
yeah.
I guess that's a long time.
I guess it's a day, really, is all it takes because they travel so fast to Terran Ferry, and then it's still several more days to Barillon. They stay a night or two in Barillon, and then they go to so maybe it's 2 weeks together, but 2 weeks together with someone just constantly is going to make you, especially because at that point, like, you couldn't talk to Lana Moraine besides fingering her apparently, and like, the women were pretty kind of sequestered almost with Moraine. So, I mean, there's really
no talked to Rand on the boat. He was balancing on the tip of his dick at the top of the mast.
I got a pogo stick. Jesus, man.
Hey, Tom, did you see this silver tower? Get off your dick, you crazy weirdo. What are you doing? So he decides to leave. He packs up really quickly. He says, try not to eat the table, which I thought was hilarious.
I still love that.
I know. Wait here, try not to eat the table. I'll be right back. Like, it's just such a throwaway line, and I'm just like, that's such a fucking good line. Anyway, they go outside, the corpse is gone, and he's like, oh, fuck, that's fucked up.
Tarval in the land of disappearing corpses.
Apparently. He's like, the police here are really on top of their shit.
Well, it's just cleaning up bodies, not asking about them.
I think they're not the police, it's the janitorial staff. It's like Disney World. You can eat ice cream off the ground there. It's like, they just like immediately, something hits the ground, they're just like, sweep that up.
That's what happens. The cops show up and they're like, we heard somebody got killed. I'm like, oh, we already covered the body.
This is the most magical place on earth. What about the evidence? What evidence? It doesn't matter.
Tarval and CSI is constantly furious.
I like how he says, we're getting out of here right now. We're getting on the first ship no matter what, even if it's sinking. And he's like, well, if it's sinking, that's not really...
It's a horrible idea. It's a really bad plan.
You should probably wait for the second ship.
We'll just have to swim back ashore and get on another ship.
Yeah, probably just get on the second ship, man. It's sinking.
But what if the second ship is also sinking?
Well, what if the third ship? Anything that's not sinking, I think, is the key.
And if that one's sinking, I would recommend a horse.
A horse, yeah.
A horse is going to sink in the water too, Tom.
I mean, that letter works on bridges as well as the ports.
Something is clearly wrong.
That letter works on horses just as well as it works on the South Harbor. You know what I mean?
No, he tries to talk to a horse, and the horse is like, I don't think so. He shows the letter to the horse. Oh, okay, yeah.
All right,
I'll swim you to shore.
That's tWoTcast for this week. Fucking horse sounds. If we're doing horse sounds, it's over.
Listen wherever you get your podcast.
I haven't even done the other thing. Stop.
Oh, shit, sorry.
If you have any comments or questions, the best way to find us is on Twitter. It's at tWoTcast.
I was leaving that for Jono. Listen wherever you get your podcasts. You can email us, tWoTcast@gmail.com.
tWoTcast themes brought to you by Taffy Bennington, at Sing with Taffy on Twitter, and Anarchy 101 on YouTube. And also everyone's favorite musician on hashtag Twitter of Time, Androl with one L, at Androl Ginhold on Twitter, and Androl Bard of Time on YouTube.
We're on Patreon now.
Now!
I don't know why I said now. We've been for a very long time.
Because we're going right now after this.
Patreon.com/tWoTcast. If you enjoy the show, help us out and give us some of your money and enjoy exclusive content only on Patreon.
Thank you to our guests. Us.
Damn it, Jono.
Thank you to the guy that drove by on the badass motorcycle. Join us next week for the Wheel Time Book 3, The Dragon Reborn Part 8, covering chapters 32 through 35. That's pretty hot. It's only 4.
It must be larger chapters, though.
No, that's annoying.
It's all about page count, Tom.
You've been listening to Jono. Joe.
Keep the change, you filthy animals.
I'm Tom. Study your math like Jono did with that dress thing, apron. It's good.
Thank you.
It's the end of that.
Study your math like Jono did with that dress thing, apron.
The tWoTcast was so smart to lovingly bash our favorite books. But that was long ago, and now they've grown the show, and now they got us in their hooks. Don't throw coins to these bastards, they need bars of gold at least. Someone please keep them afloat. Now let's listen as they once again ramble through a book. Let's get the fucking quote. One of them is Tom, but he is barely on. Sometimes he calls into the show. Another one is Jono. Is he their joker? Oh no. And Joe, is he the stupid one? Welcome to the tWoTcast. We will share our love for books and all our hate in every episode. We'll entertain you, make you laugh so hard you barely can stand up. That is the tWoTcast code.